Welcome to ACD-Combatives, your combatives and control tactics channel. Please like, subscribe, and share. Hey guys, Coach Kurt. So at least half of my subscribers are civilians, and I'm assuming most of them are civilian martial artists, and they're interested in a connection to law enforcement and use of force and self-defense. In fact, why don't you throw some comments if you're one of my subscribers and you regularly watch my videos. Let me know. You're law enforcement, you're civilian martial artist. I'm just really curious. I know about half of you are somehow affiliated with law enforcement, but at least another half aren't, and some of you are overseas. Anyway, really curious. This is going to be a quick 3-video series, best weapons for home defense. And guys, again, I'm just some random dude on the internet. I'm a law enforcement officer, so I'm going to look at this from a perspective of a law enforcement officer. But a lot of that can be translated to civilian self-defense. So we're going to go off some generalizations. Generally speaking, in most cases, you are allowed to defend yourself in your home. It's your castle doctrine. You need to know your local laws. And I'm going to talk to you from the perspective of a use of force instructor. I'm also a control tactics and taser guy, and I'm an FTO. But what is a use of force instructor, and how does that differ from control tactics? Well, use of force is the case law, the legal, the agency regulations, and issues like that. Some of the tactics and so forth, but it's really important to know how to translate Supreme Court case law and translate it to law enforcement. That's what a use of force instructor is. Basically, the good and the bad and the ugly of the use of force and how to apply it and teach it to other officers. Control tactics would be the physical aspect of it, or more so the physical aspect of it, where you're teaching the techniques, the tactics, and so forth. Just to clear that up. But back on the firearms thing. This is, again, very generic. There are 3 basic choices, and there are other choices, including a crossbow if you want to go there. I'm going to start this video off with the rifle. But we're talking rifle, shotgun, and pistol. These are the 3 choices that I recommend. And I'm not going to get into semantics about pistol caliber rifles. Generally speaking, I'm not a fan of pistol caliber rifles because a 16-inch barrel, sometimes the 9mm round doesn't expand. We're not going to get into any of that, guys. That's not my area of expertise. I actually go to the experts for that information. Like, tell me why I wouldn't want a pistol caliber. I'm just passing on what I know. You, generally speaking, do not want to use a pistol caliber rifle. A pistol caliber AR pistol, like an AR pistol that's got like a 9-inch barrel. And I'm not going to get into the legal aspects of what makes an AR a pistol versus a rifle. There's length and so forth. Big fan of the AR pistol. Don't think that a rifle should have to be legally SBR'd. I think it's Second Amendment right. You should be able to just have an SBR if that's what you want. But that's not what this channel is all about. It's about the training, the tactics, and so forth. And again, half of you are civilians. So we'll start with the rifle. And I'm just using my generic rifle. I have other rifles, but this one is mine. So this is a dissipator model. So this is a rifle length handguard, and I'll explain why I chose that. On a 16-inch barrel, it's a mid-length gas system. The gas system is an impingement gas system. You guys, if you're AR guys, you already know all this, but not everybody understands the deep details. But this isn't that kind of channel. There are much better channels that explain all that kind of stuff. But I like the dissipator length AR because of the rifle stock. And as you can see, I've got the A1 stock on it. That's not because I'm nostalgic. It's because I love how it tapers down. And when I put the rifle in my the pocket of my shoulder, I have this C grip, and it tapers down. It's just so comfortable. And I can like shove it back into my shoulder. I've got the flashlight right there. Everything is just so handy. And I've got a red dot up on top. Guys, certain things you're going to want on a home defense rifle: a good red dot, a good sling, and good backup sights, and a good flashlight. Doesn't have to be super fancy with a pressure button and all that kind of stuff. As you can see, my shit's real basic. This is a Palmetto State Armory rifle. Love them. Love a Palmetto State Armory. Can't say enough good things about them. You either like them or you don't. There's people, oh, it's got to be Daniel Defense or something like that. Guys, pooey. Certain things you want to not scrimp on. Like I have a Daniel Defense rear sight. Daniel Defense makes amazing rear sights. I don't want some cheap Amazon shit that's going to break. I want a decent red dot. It doesn't have to be an aim point, especially for home defense. Now, if you're going to use it for patrol, I would consider an aim point if you can afford it. But for home defense, you just want a quality, decent. I think this is Primary Arms. I've seen amazing, beat the hell out of them reviews of these things. These seem to really hold up. Another group of people who are diehards. It's an amazing little red dot. But I wouldn't necessarily put it on a patrol rifle. I'd stay in the aim point in stuff like that. But this, again, this isn't a gear review. Why a rifle? Well, because they're easier to shoot. Now, when I say easier to shoot versus a pistol, and again, everything's been safety checked. A pistol, if you train with it and everything like that, is completely fine. You can totally shoot it well, accurate. Now, remember, in home defense, chances are it's going to be a very stressful situation. There's a good chance that it's going to be completely out of the blue. You're not a patrol officer who made a traffic stop and it goes bad. If you're a good patrol officer, every time you stop a car, in the back of your mind, you're ready for shit to go, and that's just the way it is. You should always be in condition yellow and ready to rock and roll when you're in patrol. But when you're at home watching TV with your wife, or it's the middle of the night, you're sleeping, or you work from home, you're in condition white. You're in your zone. You should be. You're comfortable. It's your castle, right? And all of a sudden you hear the back door get kicked in, and you hear voices, and you're like, oh shit. I guarantee you, if you've never been in the military or in law enforcement in a stressful situation, aka quasi-combat type situation where people are out to kill you and you have to defend yourself, or things get really ugly really quick, you're going to be surprised just how fast you'll get. Your vision will narrow. You won't hear things the way you would normally hear. There's just you need to fight through that lizard brain moment. That's where training comes in. So I can't push training enough. But back to the rifle, all these weapons require proper training, including the shotgun and the pistol. But we'll talk about different videos about the shotgun, a different video about the pistol. This one's about the rifle. The great thing about the rifle is you've got 1 point of contact, 2 point of contact, 3 point of contact, and if you've got this shouldered right, your cheek weld is another point of contact. So you've got all these point of contacts. I'm literally shoving it back into my shoulder pocket, and as you can see, I'm not having to bend my head way down. It just kind of falls right into my co-witness. And so with the proper training, and you don't have to be Navy SEAL, I'm talking just good quality regular training with your firearm, not only just sitting there shooting paper, but moving to targets, coming around, cutting the pie around, obstacles, that kind of stuff. Doesn't have to be crazy, but with good training, under pressure, a rifle is way easier to shoot accurately. And I've said in other videos, if you know you're going to a gunfight, and if somebody's kicking in your back door, you better be thinking, I'm about to get in a gunfight. I'm here to defend my family and my life. This isn't, I'm taking someone to jail. No, people want to hurt me. If they're in your home, I guarantee you they mean you ill will. If there's one, there's two. If there's two, there's three. You get the idea. Never assume you just see one body, there's only one person. They travel in packs, predators. So a rifle is just really easy to shoulder and shoot under stress. And because we're talking a good caliber, like the 5.56 223, it's going to do its job way better than a pistol. If you know you're going to go to a gunfight, bring a rifle. Don't bring a pistol. Or one is none, two is one, so have other stuff available to you. Maybe, and I do because I have my patrol belt hanging, on the closet door. In the middle of the night, you as a Joe citizen could put together an intelligently, doesn't have to be cool, fancy Navy SEAL shit, some kind of belt where you can just throw on over your pajamas. It's going to look weird, but it's good. And you've got a pistol with some extra magazines and maybe a rifle mag, one extra rifle mag for your rifle, and you can defend your home. Now, we'll get into tactics in other videos, but suffice to say, you shouldn't go out looking for the trouble. You should barricade, call 911, and wait for the trouble to come to you. Because then later on in court, even though it's your home, and they kicked in your back door and are coming to you, it's easier to defend that I yelled commands, told them to get out of my home, that I'm armed, I've called the police, and they still pursued down the hallway to come get me in my bedroom. You know, I feared for my safety based on all these facts, these gram factors, and we've talked about gram factors in other videos. They're coming to do me harm. It's reasonable to believe that. Then you fire your weapon in self-defense. You're stopping the threat. We'll talk more about that stuff in other videos as well. But you get the idea. Now, things you need to consider. Again, I mentioned, tactically, you need a good flashlight on your weapon. That's just super intelligent. You want a sling so you can sling your weapon after the fact, or you put it down when the police show up. You don't want to be walking around with your rifle when the police show up, because they're responding to a home invasion and they don't know who's who yet. It should be fairly obvious if you run around in your PJs, but you know, they're under stress too. Don't make shit worse than it has to be, is what I'm telling you. Good red dot, good light, good sling, and good ammunition choices. So what are we talking about for ammunition choices? Excuse me. I would go out and buy, they're expensive, but you're going to buy like critical defense or some quality law enforcement home defense grade ammunition designed just for that purpose. You want enough penetration to take down the bad guy, and when I say take down the bad guy, I'm talking about stopping the threat. Lots of trauma to the center mass causes them to go down. I'm not trying to kill him, I'm trying to stop the threat. That's what you're doing. Police officers fire their weapon until there's no more threat. If the threat happens to be dead because of the trauma, because of the ammo, that's side effect. You're trying to stop the threat. Not just slow it down, but stop it. Good quality ammunition wants to penetrate and stop the threat, but you don't want it to be like Full Metal Jacket, high-speed military style rounds that are going to go through him, through the wall, kill your neighbor. If you're in an apartment, maybe a shotgun is a better choice, or a long gun's always a better choice than a pistol when you're talking about home defense, but if you can only afford one gun, maybe some kind of pistol is a better choice, especially depending on your local laws and all that kind of stuff. Shouldn't be a Second Amendment issue as far as home defense with pistol, but I don't know, there's some pretty crazy cities out there with weird anti-Second Amendment laws still on the books that are still being fought, but that's not this channel, different channel. Go to a different channel if you're looking for that kind of stuff. So, to recap, good quality rifle. I recommend a 16-inch barrel, but you can have a pistol AR, that's fine. Good ammunition designed for home defense. Not to, you want it to penetrate and stop the threat, but you don't want it to go through a wall and kill your neighbor. I can't think of any situation that I know of off the top of my head where that happens very often. I'm sure it's happened, like gang shootings in major cities where, you know, gangbangers are spraying and praying and they're like not even aiming, they're, you know, going over the hood of a car. You see that in old Vietnam era footage where people are just like over the embankment. See threat, target threat, know where that round is going. You are responsible for every press of this trigger. Every time you hear that click and bang, you are responsible for that round. Be a good responsible gun owner. Know where the rounds are going, and those rounds should be going center mass of the bad guy. That's it. You don't want even, and you might miss under stress and shoot your TV. It might go through the wall and go into your closet. Where you don't want it going is into your children's room and killing them. You don't want it going through the front window and killing your neighbor or something like that. That's not what you want. So all that needs to be taken in consideration. But again, this is just more of a tactical concepts. What I recommend for home defense. And again, the rifle's #1 choice. We'll go into a separate video. For the shotgun, my favorite is the Mossberg 500. We'll go into that when we do that video. And third would be a pistol. All of them should have flashlights though. And slings if you're talking long gun. You definitely want that stuff on a long gun. Alright guys, I'm going to wrap it up because I've already went too long. Please like, subscribe, and share. I am the law.
Let's roll. Hey, let's be careful out.